Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Boxing. I'm Leti.
I'm LB.
And let's get into the fight this weekend with Keyshawn Davis,
aka the businessman,
out of Norfolk, Virginia, versus Omar Tienda out of Mexico. That's your guy. What you think about his performance?
Hey, Norfolk, Virginia, stand up.
Why?
Because you guys got you guys a good one. You guys got you guys an amazing talent. I mean, if you haven't seen Keyshawn Davis yet, you missing out. You know, he was a silver medalist in the Olympics, and when you watch him, man, he is just an explosive, athletic young fighter to watch. You know, and so to kind of get into that, I mean, and he's so advanced. When you look at him, you know, he's only got 6 or so fights. He was fighting a guy who had 30 fights. Yeah. He had like 30 fights. And, you know, that's unheard of for someone to be taking on this type of opponent this early. But that just kind of speaks to how special he is.
Yeah. You know, he's defensively, offensively. He was out for a little bit because he was having some stomach problems or whatever. But he came back. He didn't miss a beat. You know, he was in there with the veteran, and I don't want to say that he tested him, and which is like we want to see. You know, he's, you know, every fight that he goes up, it's a step higher and higher and higher. And you know, Tienda kind of touched him a little bit more than all the other fighters that he's been fighting up against. So I feel like he, you know, gave him a little bit of challenge, a little bit. It wasn't too much, but he did definitely get to him a lot more than the other fighters.
You know.
But Keyshawn weathered the storm. Great. I mean, he's gonna be a great.
He's gonna be great. But yeah, to kind of speak on his opponent, you know, a lot of sometimes the opponents that they come in, you know, and that, you know, and these fighters, they kind of have this, you know, this aura about them as, you know, this is the favorite, but kind of defeated, and that was not the case. You know, he was definitely a veteran. He definitely came to fight, and you know, he was like, "You Keyshawn Davis, you gonna have to prove it to me," and Keyshawn did.
He did.
You know,
he got the knockout.
And he did. He got the
fifth round knockout. I believe.
I can't. I think it was like the 5th round. But and it's so throughout the. So you know, I will say this. You know, in the beginning of the fight, you know, Keyshawn kind of starts slow because you know he's kind of like thinking. You know, he's thinking and computing, and then I'll probably say like at the end of the 1st round, he landed a counter right hand, and they didn't call it a knockout, but you could tell. You know, the opponent was hurt by it. And then that ended up being the shot that he just kept going back to. He was pretty much taking, you know, a little half step, a little 1 step back, and then shooting the right hand right over the top. And Tienda wasn't able to adjust, and he wasn't able to get out of the way of that right hand. Another good thing that Keyshawn Davis does, you know, that usually young fighters and, you know, that they don't usually do is go to the body. He was throwing nasty hooks to the body. And he's also got a good jab and good feet. So,
and I mean, he had the one and only great coach, bout, you know, which he said that, you know, thanks to him, he was able to get that knockout how he did. And you know, with Keyshawn, I feel like for being a young fighter also, he's very calm when he's in the ring.
Patient.
Like, patient. Yeah, he's not just wild, because I feel like, you know, he's trying to, you know, learn the other boxer, what is he doing, and he just seems very calm and poised throughout it, you know. And then he's like, okay, I got you, I'm gonna go back to the corner and I'm gonna switch my game plan or do any adjustments as needed. He comes back and he does what he has to do to get the fighter out of there.
And you know, to kind of talk about that, you talked about Brian bout McIntyre. You know, he's gotten, you know, Bout is the coach of Terrence Bud Crawford. And, you know, they've been getting it, you know, Keyshawn's talked about, you know, the different, you know, work that they've been getting in the sparring. And I will say this, you know, he does have, when I go back and I watch a young Bud, they do have a lot of similarities. They both have that meanness to them. They kind of have that mean streak. If you watch Keyshawn, like, he definitely has that mean streak, and he loves to fight and get guys out of there. You know, he's more of an aggressive fighter, you know, less than a more of a slick, but he can be slick. But he loves to fight, he loves to bang, but he'll do it defensively responsible, which makes it exciting to watch.
Yes, and which is what I like to see a boxer do. Okay, you can get off on offensively, but what's your defense look like? You know, he got power in both hands. You know, he's been on the streak, kind of knockouts for the past few times. And, you know, I'm excited to see his career, you know, develop more, get the competition going a little higher and higher. They do talk about fast tracking him a little bit, maybe like they said a Loma or whatnot.
And he fights at that exciting lightweight division. So there's so many fights that can be made.
Oh yeah.
And to kind of talk about it, he also tweeted. It was funny. He's like, "Hey, I heard those belts is vacant at 130. I might have to go down and pick them up." And if he can get drop the weight to get just that 5 pounds and do it, I don't doubt him going and scooping up them belts. Right. That's how special he is.
Yeah, he said, next year he want to be a contender. So
yep. He's going for that contender status.
I don't doubt it. I think his career is gonna definitely take off. Yeah. He's gonna definitely be an explosive fighter that we're all gonna be tuning in to watch.
Yeah. And the other thing, he didn't really use it as much as he did in the other fights. It's his jab. He's really got a good jab. He did use it, and it was effective. He'll throw the jab to the to the head, and also he'll throw it to the stomach. But his jab is really good, and I expect to see it more in his upcoming fight. But yeah, he's definitely one to watch out for. That is for sure. Yeah. But what a performance! And there was people chiming in. You had Rolly, and Rolly was out there, talking his mess, talking his shit. But, I expect him to do that, considering, Devin Haney made a statement like, "Oh, I think Keyshawn can beat Rolly right now." So, I wasn't shocked that Rolly came out and said that. But that was just funny. But yeah, we just, like you said, we're just excited for Keyshawn Davis and his career and what's next for him. So we're just going to tune in and see, what's next. But that's all we got. So thanks for tuning in, y'all.
And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Or talk your shit. And we out.